So yesterday I watched a motion picture. I watched a film, and it was called The Aviator, a Scorsese film about the very interesting character Howard Hughes, which I did not know too much about. All I knew about him was that he had a bizarre ass fucking final couple years. That's all I know. And to me, that's super interesting. So I watched the movie. It's about 3 hours. So it's a very long movie. This is one of those movies that it's 3 hours, and yet I feel like it could have lasted another 3 hours because there's just so much. There's so much story. And they skip ahead a lot. And I'm like, I don't want you to skip ahead. I want to watch every little bit. So, the movie is, it's about Howard Hughes, who's like, an early director of film in the late 1920s, early 1930s, like a child basically that inherits a giant fortune and they just like blow it all on making cool movies and cool airplanes, right? And so like this guy is basically extremely mentally ill. Now it's historically written that he had like severe OCD, but like, again, people in the 1950s and 60s didn't really know what mental health issues were. I would say there's a lot more than OCD at play here. Probably a little bit of the autism, a little bit of the ADHD, a little bit of the, this and that and the other thing, right? I don't think OCD is the only thing at play here. But anyway, the movie basically follows him as like, some eccentric young guy. He suffers from a lot of plane crashes, right? Because he loves flying planes. That's his two hobbies, is making movies and flying planes. That's what he loves. Everything else doesn't matter. Sell the company, mortgage the company, fuck out everyone else. I just want to fly my planes and go vroom, and I want to make a movie. And I respect that. I gotta say, I respect that. But anyway, so he crashes planes a couple times, and basically every time he crashes his planes and suffers like brain trauma, right? Like he goes deaf, right? And he just gets more and more mentally unwell. And so now I don't know too much about the historical accuracy of this film. I'm not going to lie. But basically he gets involved in some giant business war that results in him getting subpoenaed by a Senate committee and publicly embarrassed quite significantly. And but he tries to fight back, and it's a good scene when he's in that Senate committee and he is just blowing them up with facts and logic and everyone's cheering him on. Now again, I don't know the historical accuracy of this film. Maybe I should look into it a little bit more, but as of this moment, I do not know the historical accuracy of the film, so I'm just doing a movie review. I'm not sure whether or not the events are 1-to-1 or even 1-to-2 with reality at all. But yeah, basically, this guy went a little nutso from having a lot of latent mental issues as well as crashing planes a lot, and that kind of fucks your shit up when you're getting whiplash over and over and your brain's fucking right in your head. It kind of fucks you up, and he became a little bit of a recluse. I love the scenes where it shows him in his movie theater with the piss bottles and the strings everywhere, and he's got the long ass hair and he's looking skinny as fuck. I mean, I just gotta say, Leo DiCaprio, one of my favorite actors, he's really good, but he plays the role of Howard Hughes really excellently. And I also think that the directing of how it shows his mental health struggles is also really good. One of my favorite scenes is earlier in the film when he's eating at a restaurant and someone reaches over and picks up a pea with their hands off of his plate, right? And then he's just staring at the food, right? And you see his face he's trying to how can I eat this? How can I eat this? I can't do it. Another great scene is when he's in the bathroom and he washes his hands so fucking roughly that he cuts himself with his fingernail, right? And then he uses up all the towels in the bathroom to wash up the blood. And then he's staring at the doorknob of the bathroom door and he can't open it. Why? Because he just washed his hands and he's got a wound. He can't open that door. So then, it's just how do I do this? There's no more towels. Do I go in the garden? And the way that the camera is it's just brilliant. And then he just waits for someone to open the door and he sneaks out. It's just great. I mean, the way that this film portrayed his mental health issues. One of the other One of my favorite scenes as well. I have a lot of favorite scenes in this movie. That's super relatable is when he's at the dinner table with Katharine Hepburn, who's the girlfriend at the time, and like the whole family is just like incessantly whining about a bunch of stupid shit. You know, like I feel this whenever I'm at like a big social gathering and there's so many people talking. I am so uncomfortable. I just want to leave. I just don't want to be here. And then one of my favorite parts of that scene is when like one of them turns to Howard and is like, so what do you do with the airplanes? And then all of a sudden like you see Howard's face like bright up, right? And he's like so happy. He's like, oh fuck, I get to talk about my airplanes. And then he like starts playing with his food to create like a diagram. And then someone cuts him off because like they just didn't care and they wanted to engage in a different topic. And then like you see like his face, like he's waiting. Like, am I going to finish what I'm talking about? Am I going to finish what I'm talking about? And then he realizes that no, his moment is over. They didn't care about the airplanes. He was tricked. He was deceived. And then he has a meltdown and then leaves the table. I got to say, that scene, as someone who is, very autistic in that scenario, and I hate that scenario. Whenever I'm at like family reunions, whenever I'm at like any social gathering with a lot of people, right? If I get to talk about something I like, I'm super into it, but I hate being cut off, right? And it makes me so fucking mad and it makes me depressed, right? And so I love that scene. I thought it was perfect. As far as like my personal experience with that kind of mental stuff, I thought that was perfect. But there's so many scenes in this movie that are just like, it's just so good. It's so like, and again, it's a 3-hour movie. And yet you wish it was 6 hours. Like I wish that there was the Aviator like quadrilogy, you know, like that motherfucking shit is just and so it's just an amazing movie. I really enjoyed it. So I don't know the historical accuracy. I couldn't tell you that. But as far as the enjoyment factor, as far as how like mental illness is portrayed in this movie, I think it's really good. And yeah, it's just a great movie. I don't know. Go watch it. The Aviator. It's a good movie. I don't know. The planes go in the sky, and then I love the scene where he flies the fucking plane up the water, like the big ass plane, and then proves everyone wrong. It's just a good movie. Anyway, he's still a billionaire though, so fuck him.